Hey guys, today I've got something that I'm probably way more excited about than I should be, but I think this product is a potential game changer. Let's check it out. So today I've got a handful of the new RunCam camera control modules, part number RCCA. And the reason why I'm excited about these is this little guy allows you to adjust the settings of your FPV camera much more easily while you're out in the field using your OSD. Let's take a look. Let's get one of these open so we can see what the contents of the package includes. Shake it all out. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Okay, so inside we have the camera control module itself. We have a short cable to go to the OSD port on the camera. We have a couple, well, 4 to be exact. There are 4 nice silicone wires so we can connect the module to an available UART on the quad. And it looks like we have a piece of heat shrink, a piece of double-sided tape, and also a manual. Inside the manual, it shows us our wiring diagram. It shows us the general operation of the device itself using stick inputs from your transmitter. And on the back side, it shows us how to configure our UART port once it's installed into the quad. Alrighty. Using my time machine, which is also known as video editing, I've got one of these guys assembled so you can see generally how it's going to go together. On one side, we have our connector to go to the OSD port. On the other side, we have our handful of wires that are going to be connecting to the quad. I have conformal coated this before I put on the heat shrink. I am a huge fan of conformal coating. If you're not using this product, you're doing it wrong, and that's all I can say. This stuff literally kept me flying all winter long. You can get it on Amazon. It's about 12 or 15 bucks a bottle, and this stuff is worth 1,000 times its weight in gold. But anyway, let's get back to the camera control. So I have my victim here, and I need to get this guy apart so we can get the new module installed. I guess it's time to cue a disassembly montage. So now the quad is disassembled, at least disassembled to the point of where I can work with it. And the first thing we're going to need to do, and if you're not sure where to find this, is find a wiring diagram for your particular flight controller online. It can be done very easily. Just search for the flight controller that you have, do a Google image search, and almost immediately you should find images of a diagram of all the available pinouts on your flight controller. Anyway, I'm working with an omnibus. I've been working with these for a rather long time, so I'm relatively familiar with them, and I have a good idea of what I'm doing with this flight controller. The UART that I'm going to choose is this one right here. It is actually UART 1. I have ground, 5 volts, TX, and RX. Now when you're connecting a device to a UART, it is a serial port, and you want to reverse the RX and TX pads. So what I mean by that is the RX from the camera control is going to go to the TX on the flight controller. Since I've identified my pins, I am now going to go ahead and tin the pads. This board does have a fair amount of conformal coating on it. I don't know if you can see in the video and how shiny the processor is, for example. But I am going to go ahead and tin both sides because of that. It's going to make it a lot easier to solder in the long run. Normally when I'm doing an installation, I wouldn't tin both sides of the pads. But again, in this case, because this board does have a very healthy dose of conformal coating on it, I'm going to do both sides just to make the install a little bit easier. Always get a little fresh solder on your tip. Make sure you keep your tip clean. Put a little heat in the pad. And it should take the solder no problem. Now I'm just going to put the smallest dab on each of the pads. I don't want to overdo it. because I'm actually going to end up installing my wires from the underside of the board. Again, in this case, because it does have a fair amount of conformal coating on it. I'm just going to configure my board and get it into a position where I'm comfortable working on it. And let's get a little more solder on the back side. Okay, now all my pads are thoroughly tinned. I can start the actual installation of the camera control module. I'm going to start with the ground because it is way down here. Just a little bit of heat and I should be able to insert the wire into the hole. Now I'm going to do 5 volts. Just line up the wire. A little bit of heat and it should go right in there. So this one I didn't get a very good connection on. I think I'm going to put a little bit more solder on the pad. And I'm just going to try it again. And there they all are. To keep things neat, I like to put a twist in all my wires. Just gonna twist these up all nice and tight. I'm gonna run it under the board. After I test everything, I am gonna come back and put some conformal coating on both the top side joints here and the underside ones as well. But I just want to make sure everything is working before I go ahead and do that. So for now, I'm just going to put one standoff in the board to keep it in place. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do 2. Alright. Now, all I have to do is take the connector from the camera control module and plug it into my camera. And actually, while I'm doing this, I want to point something out. You might see my camera here. This is a RunCam, but look at the logo on it. This is one of the original Rotor Riot RunCams. And well, if you look at the list of compatible cameras with the RunCam camera control module, you will clearly see that the original Rotor Riot RunCam is not on that list. Maybe you think I'm crazy for trying to hook this up together in this combination, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. As long as your camera has the OSD control port on it, this module should work. And I've already tried this. I know this is going to work without a problem. So if you do have an older Rotor Riot RunCam, you can install this module absolutely no problem at all. I know for a fact that it will work. You can also try this on other older RunCams. Again, anything, as long as it has the OSD port for the camera control, essentially they all work the same, and that's why this works, even though it's not listed on RunCam's website as being compatible. And I'm going to let you in on a little something else as well, too. If you have a camera from a different manufacturer, I don't know, maybe it begins with an F, I'm willing to bet this is going to work for you, too. And this is such a cheap part at under $4. Even if you're not 100% sure that this is going to work for you, try the experiment. Buy the part, throw it in, you know, when you've done a larger order. Maybe you're stocking up on parts and, hey, throw one of these modules in there and just give it a go. Worst case scenario, it isn't going to work. But if it does, right, isn't it worth taking the chance? But anyway, let's finish getting everything plugged in here. Sometimes these connectors on the back of the RunCam can be a little tight and snug and finicky to get in there. But for now, I'm just gonna like kerplunk all this in here. Once I've tested it, I'm gonna go ahead and go back and button everything up. But for now and for testing purposes, we can just shove it in there. Need to plug my receiver back in because, of course, this is how this device works. Is it's going to get an input signal from the transmitter. So let's plug that in there. And, you know, right now everything's together enough, and I have all my basic connections done as to where, well, now I can go into Butterfly and do the setup and configuration. So why don't we go ahead and do that? Plug in the old quad and get the Butterflights open. I'm gonna click on the old connect, go over to the ports tab, and on UART1, because this is the UART that I've selected, I'm gonna go all the way over to the peripherals area. I'm going to click on disabled, and I'm going to pick RunCam device. Save and reboot, and that's it. The configurator portion of this setup is done. And this is exactly the same if you're using Betaflight or if you're using Butterfly. So either way, this is going to work for you. All right, I'm done with that. Let's get this disconnected. And let's see if we have some camera control. All right, I got all my gear here ready to go. I'm gonna plug in a battery. Hopefully, no smoke, no smoke, no smoke, no smoke, no smoke. Nice, no smoke. Okay, the way that we're going to access the menu is mid-throttle, push to the right. It's going to engage the unit, push again to the right for a second time, and that's going to open the OSD menu. Let's see if it works. Okay, mid-throttle, to the right once, to the right again, and hey, look at this. Here are our settings for the camera. Now I can go up and down in the menu using the right stick. Oh, it looks like we got a little out of control there. Anything that we want to choose and select here. We can go into exposure, and to select this, it's throttle mid and to the right. And so we get into this menu here. And that's about it. If you're going to change the value, like if I want to change brightness, you're going to use the right stick, and I can go up and down in the numbers. If you're going to enter, you're going to use the left stick, and again, it's mid-throttle, and to the right for enter. But it looks like this is working. I'm going to shimmy my way down to exit. Exit. There you go. We've done it. We have successfully installed a RunCam camera control adapter. Well, not in just any quad at all, but in a quad with a camera that isn't technically compatible with these either. You know, part of this video is I want to show you guys that it's okay to experiment with things. Just because the directions say one thing doesn't mean you can't do something completely different. Well, here's another successful install. I hope you're able to get something out of this. If you did, maybe throw me a thumbs up. Click on that like button. Maybe I can convince you to subscribe to this channel. I would really love it if you did subscribe. If you have time and you're looking to spend some money, maybe check out my sponsor, HotDog FPV, at hotdogfpv.com. They have tons of awesome apparel, including my personal favorite, Derek and his drone swag. But you can also get the best goggle straps on the planet. I personally won't fly with anything else. Maybe check me out on Instagram, at Derek and his drone. But that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.